The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen.
Okay, so good morning. I'm Joseph Kelly, Product Marketing Manager over at Nimble. Welcome to this week's Introduction to Nimble webinar. This is about a 40-minute general onboarding session. We're going to talk about the basics of how to get started with Nimble, how Nimble is different from other CRMs, and how you can be better at sales and organize your contacts in this over-communicated world by using Nimble. So first things first, I want to share a little outline of what we'll cover. So we'll do a little intro of Nimble, talk about how to get your contacts and email into Nimble, and why that's important for anyone that's starting a Nimble account. Then we'll do a tab-by-tab overview, how to go through contacts, how to enrich contacts, how to sort your contacts, send group messages. And then we'll talk about deals and reports, managing your agenda, using Nimble wherever you work, and then also using our mobile apps. So to get started, let's talk about how Nimble is different from a traditional CRM. So traditional CRM is just going to be a database of contacts, and it's only going to contain the information that you put in it. Usually you start from a spreadsheet, maybe an existing CRM, but once you put information in there, you need to make sure that salespeople are continually refreshing that information, logging conversations, logging emails, and your CRM is only going to be as good as the people that are entering data into it. Where Nimble is different is that Nimble allows you to connect multiple data points, such as your calendar, your email, your social network contacts, your social network connections, along with our own back-end lookups to give you more dynamic contact records where you'll see contact photos, you'll see your communication history across different interaction platforms. You'll be able to see different social profile information for contacts, as well as seeing insights on companies as well. So if you load in a company into Nimble and you load in that company's URL, you're going to get insights on that company that Nimble's going to serve up for you. So you're going to spend less time on data entry and allow Nimble to find more of this information for you, so you can spend more time managing your personal relationships, managing your outreach, and less time on data integrity in your platform. So before you can get any of that started, you've got to connect some data points. So you got to connect your email account, maybe a CSV file, which would be a spreadsheet of contacts. Let's talk about how to get all that connected. So I navigate to the Networks and Imports page by clicking on my avatar and then selecting Networks and Imports. From here, I see a variety of places to connect. If you're using Google Apps, you'd want to attach a Google account. You'll log in through this pop-up. You can connect to multiple Google accounts. And once you've got those accounts connected, your emails will be automatically syncing to Nimble. They'll automatically index to your contacts, which means they'll automatically match to your contacts. And those emails will show up on their contact record inside of Nimble. When you first start the sync process, you want to make sure that you connect your email. Then you want to make sure that you import your contacts. So I'm going to upload my contacts from my Google account, and then it's going to create all these contact records in a one-time import. And then all those emails that are syncing over through Nimble are also going to sync to those contact records. Next, you're going to see Google Calendar. So I can connect one Google Apps calendar, and I can sync all these different calendars that I have access to on my Google Apps domain. Calendar syncing is two-way with Nimble. So if I create a calendar under the Activities tab and also on the contact record or company record of the attendees to that event, if I create an event inside of Nimble, I can select the specific calendar I want to create it on, and those calendar events will show up on my Google Calendar. We are in the process of adding support for Office 365 calendars. Keep an eye out for that this fall. For my Twitter account, I want to connect my Twitter account so I can post status updates to Twitter, view my Twitter feed, mention people, follow people, send direct messages, all from within Nimble, as well as scheduling tweets. I can also import specific Twitter lists that I've curated or that I follow. If I select one of those Twitter lists, it's going to automatically append the name for that Twitter list as a tag for importing that list. For connecting Facebook and my Facebook business page, I just connect both of these here. Going down to Instagram, connect this here. We have the ability to look up people's Instagram profiles and view their 5 most recent photos. If you're using Office 365, you want to connect here under both messages and under REST, so you can send group messages. If you're using a third-party email service like GoDaddy, connected under IMAP. And then for connecting your LinkedIn connections, you want to select the Start Wizard button. This is going to send you to the LinkedIn export page. When you go here to the LinkedIn export page, you'll request an archive of your data. You're going to type in your password, and then you'll receive an email from LinkedIn that's going to tell you that your data archive is ready. So I'm going to go to that link, download my archive. And once I've downloaded that basic archive of my LinkedIn data, I'm going to unzip it. And let's just locate that file. And there's going to be a couple different spreadsheets in here. The one I want is this contacts one. So I'm going to open contacts just so you can see what LinkedIn lets you export, since they're very controlling over what data you can take out. And I can get my contacts' name, their companies, their title. With email, LinkedIn is going to give me 2 different or multiple emails. So I'm going to delimit this column. So I'm going to go up to data, select text to columns. I'm going to delimit it based on the commas. And you can see now I've got a couple different columns. So I'm just going to do email 1, email 2, and I'm just going to delete those extraneous emails. So now I'm going to save this, or I'm going to remove this column, and now I'm just going to save this as a new file so we can show you how to do different data mappings of an import into Nimble. So I'm going to save that file as LinkedIn import. Go back to my wizard in Nimble. Search for it in the Finder. Now that I've added it, you can see that Nimble lets you import from multiple different data sources. So if you're using any other CRM, we know how to recognize those headers, as well as for generic CSV. And we have this mapping tool for you. So see, a couple questions came in, so let me just quickly check on these. So LinkedIn export will only contain what LinkedIn lets you take out of their system. Kalika is asking, will only populate emails if it's noted on the profile. Yeah, that's right. If you're connected to someone and it includes their email, that's the only way you're going to get it. You're at the mercy of what LinkedIn exports for you. The same with phone numbers. And then Scott, you've got a question about uploading contacts where everybody's got their Outlook contacts might be mixed up with people in your company might have personal Outlook contacts. They might have business Outlook contacts commingled in their set. You want to make sure that they might use tags or something, and that they separate those contacts out before they do the import. That's really the best way to have everybody upload their business contacts to a shared database, since it's shared. Nimble is shared. And then Nimble, our integration with Office 365 is also in the desktop version of Outlook, but only if you have an Office 365 subscription or an Outlook.com inbox. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, let's get back to talking about the import tool. So with the import tool, you're going to see column 1 is going to contain the column name from the file. Column 2 is going to contain the Nimble field I'm mapping to. So I'm going to go to company detail, or I'm going to go to contact info, company for the company. Title is going to go to job title. You can see here that we have all the fields that show up. You can also search for these fields, or you can click through. So I'm just going to do work email, contact info, their email. I'm going to skip these two and go to next. Now when I'm doing an import into Nimble, you're going to see a couple different options. So it's really important to understand how these work. So the override options, this is going to be if I am only adding additional data and I don't want to overwrite existing information. If I select this override option, that means that it's going to override any fields that already exist on contacts that we match. How do we match to contacts on an import? You select fields to merge on. So I'm going to choose to merge on the email field, if available. And first and last name, when there is no match by email, is the other option. So use email as the first option, and then if there is no email that matches, it'll merge on first and last name. For companies, if you're doing a company-only import, you want to use that company URL and email as your merge criteria. Now under edit tags, I'm going to just name, this is a basic naming convention you should use for any kind of link, any kind of contact import is going to be the network name, a dash, and then the person on your team that's uploading it. So LinkedIn, Joseph K, because I'm Joseph Kelly. So I'm going to select finish, and now that import's going to work in the background. Since there's a couple thousand contacts, could take a few minutes. So I saw some questions came in. So Manish, you're asking, could we get a complete LinkedIn profile after the initial data has been uploaded? So we do have a search to locate profile URLs, but LinkedIn doesn't sync information over their API outside of what they give you in these data exports. So we're really at their mercy for what kind of information they want to send out. So since they have control over all the data on their network, we have to play by their rules, as does everybody else. So hope that helps. So here we are on the context tab. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit to make the view better. The context tab is where you'll start to sort your contacts and take action in bulk. So we've got a couple different default filters. If you want to see all contacts, there'll be people and companies, people that you've marked as important. So I can star contacts right here inside of Nimble. And when I star a contact, it's going to show up under my important filter. So under marked important, pretty basic filter, you just flag contacts. I can sort by the last contacted date, so I can see when was the last time these important people were contacted. You probably want to sort from top down so you can see people that you haven't talked to in a while. And you can see here that you can easily just mark people as unimportant and they'll disappear. You can also sort by creation date. I can sort by clout score to see the people that have marked as important, who has the highest clout score or who has the lowest. When I look over on the left at recently viewed. This would be if I want to resume where I was working, if I maybe took a break over the weekend or something like that. Recently added would be contacts I've recently imported. So this is going to be a lot of those contacts that I've been uploading from, a lot of those people that I've been uploading from that LinkedIn import. Recently contacted is going to be anybody that I've talked to over Twitter or email will show up here. Stay in touch reminders are going to be people that I've set stay in touch reminders with. The way stay in touch reminder works is you set an interval to keep in touch with someone over email or over a note you could log if you talk to them on a phone call, and they'll show up as in touch or past due. So the top of the list is going to be red for people that are all past due. If I go to the bottom of the list, it's going to show me all the people that I'm in touch with. And Manish, I see you've got some more questions about LinkedIn, and Koleka, but I'm not going to go into the intricacies of what LinkedIn allows over their API. Feel free to chat with us if you want to get into details, but this is a onboarding session for Nimble, so hope you appreciate that. So going back to contacts, I can create other smart lists of contacts. So I can select this search contacts option. I can search for, just do a quick search for people that are CEO. Like Los Angeles CEO for basic contact info. So I can do some basic quick searches, like almost like a Google search. And I can also see contacts sorted by company or title. So I can go in here and start building these smarter searches. So I can see who do I have that's a founder that's interested in sales, for example, or a founder based on their education, their bio, or based on tags. So we give you these 8 quick filters to start building searches in Nimble, but really, if you want to build some advanced searches and filters to have segments like these over here, you'd want to go into Add Segment, select Add Filter, and you can search specifically within people or companies, and you can do these multifaceted searches. So I can add a filter for, say, records where the email is not empty and they're interested is sales. So I can start doing these different and or filters. I can drag fields between these. I can build some much more advanced searches. Some basic search workflows that I like in Nimble would be people that have a birthday this month. So I'd go down here to birthday, and we give you a bunch of different default ranges. So I could search for people with birthdays this week, but I like searching for the whole month. So people with birthdays in September. I've got a list of 20 here that have September birthdays. And now that I've got this list saved, I kind of want to, I can take some bulk actions like marking these contacts as important, setting a stay in touch reminder, tagging these contacts, exporting them to CSV or MailChimp, or I can select send group message, which is going to send me to this group message form. When I'm in the group message form, I can select an email template I've already created, and it'll pull in these variables or merge tags from these contact records and auto-populate it into the message. And this message that is sent out, I can choose which email account of mine I want to send from. And I can send up to 100 of these per day from my account included with my Nimble subscription. When they receive these emails, it's going to look like a one-to-one email. It's not going to look like they received it on a big list. With regards to merge tags, we just offer first name, last name, title, and company name for now. And for email templates, if you want to pre-create those templates, you can select this Manage Templates option. You can add a template with file attachment, customized fonts, text links, and images, just kind of like a simple kind of SDR kind of email or outreach kind of email that you'd send through group messages. Once you send a group message from Nimble, you'll see a report page. From the report page, you can click into the specific message you sent. You can see who opened the message, who clicked it, who didn't read it. You can take follow-up actions based on that report. So if I want to send a follow-up message to those people, replace that list with the people that were in that previous list. I can also tag that set of contacts. So maybe if I want to tag these people for the mailing I sent out, I can also click through each row and I can see their Nimble contact record. I see their Nimble contact record. This is the same record I would see as on their company record, since these were companies I was messaging. You can see that when you add a company URL, Nimble is able to locate their email. It's able to locate their work phone number, some other information like employees, founding date, revenue, type of industry it is, keywords that they're valuable in, and then you can also see links to their social profiles that you can click on to go view out on other networks. If I scroll down here, you can see their Twitter profile. You can send them a follow if you want. You can also view their stream. And right here, you can even favorite, retweet, reply to those messages or to those tweets. So I can take these actions right here from a group message report. I can take these actions while I'm also on that company page. So going back to contacts, I want to talk about how you can actually use the social profile match in Nimble to get more information about contacts once you've added their name and email to your system. So I'm just going to click in here. I'm going to just clean up that. And talk about the social profile match inside of Nimble. So you can see here that when I'm looking at this record for Frank, he's in Cork. You can see I've got his records here. So I'm just going to check the social profile match since he uses the same photo and add these profiles to his record. I can select the photo I want from his different social networks, and then I'll match. If I go over to another record, you can see that Nimble is going to do a search on someone's name and email to find additional profiles to match in. When you match in a social profile into Nimble, it's also going to match in their title on that profile, their bio on that profile, and also the smart summary on the right. So you'll see information from their social profile down here that's going to show up here under their smart summary. If you think a contact is interesting, you can share that contact with someone else and send that message out. If I go back to contacts, I'm going to go to contact Kurt that I always like to use for a lot of my examples. So if I go to Kurt, you can see that he's got a couple different social profiles from Google+, Instagram, Twitter. You can tell how people like to convey their image online. Instagram's a little more playful and personal, where Twitter and Angelus is a little more professional, businessy. So since we're using a business app, I'm going to use their more businessy photo. And you can see here at the top of Kurt's profile, I've got his basic contact info. I can dial out to Skype from here. If I'm using the mobile app, I can dial out to my mobile phone. I can see his company record here. I'm linked to his company record. I can see the stay in touch reminder set up here, the mark is important star here. Then under the status box, I can see the last time we contacted one another. Let me just merge this record. Sorry, one moment. So I want to show you how, when you have an email account syncing to Nimble, if you add that associated email address for that person, it's going to automatically match in those conversations with that person. So you can see a bunch of different email threads from our work emails are now appearing under this pending in history tab. So the same would be for any kind of calendar events as well that we've had through our work relationship. So let's talk about the basic contact management functions you can take from a contact record in Nimble. So under this lead details box, if you're running a sales team, you can you can customize these drop-down values. If you have a couple different people that are sourcing leads, you should put their names in here in the source. And they can, as they create records or upload records, add in their name right here. The status they can update here. So if they're contacting or qualifying leads, you'd want to have them manage that right here. And then if they want to have SDR or someone designate the quality of a lead, you could have lead type be that value. You can have it be any kind of value you want. Over here on the left, you can see all the different tags that I'm using for Kurt. So these would be any kind of basic bookmarks that I'd have for finding contacts. Over here, we've got the action bar. So I can add activities. So I can assign a task. I can assign that task to a team member. I can set a specific due date for that task. Or I can just set some basic short-term interval like due tomorrow, this week. It's going to show up under my activities list. So I'm just going to assign that to myself. I'll show you where that shows up later. So you can see here that we kind of give you a running stream of tasks assigned to yourself or maybe assigned to someone else. You can also see that under pending in history, we show you communications, events, notes, deals, attachments. So I can segment into these different filters right here. And with these email threads, I'll show you later that I can click to view that email thread within Nimble as well. Some other actions I can take, I can create a calendar event. I can set that calendar event on a specific Google Cal. Guests here will receive an invite. You just need their email. Logging a touch. If I wanted to say we talked on the phone, I want to update this stay in touch reminder. Just say we texted, and now it's going to set that reminder to green. If I want to send a message to Kurt, I can send an email, Twitter mention, a DM, launch out to Facebook. If I go to email and I select, I can type an email right here, or I can pull out a template. When I pull out that template with the variables, it's going to pull in his name, his title, his company. That was right there in that template one. If you look at it again, you can see those are variables. It's just pulling it from his record so I can see it as an example. Over here, I can add a note with some basic formatting, bullet list, bold, italicize, underline, do some paragraph indentations. I can assign a deal, which would be like creating a sales opportunity. We'll talk about that in a moment. Then I can attach files from Dropbox and Google Drive. So now let's look at some basic contact field information. So under pending in history, we had that running stream of all those different actions that I can sync to a record or create related to this record. So messages, events, and tasks. I could sort into those or see everything as kind of a running relationship stream. I can go under contact info and you can see here's some system contact info for when this contact was last created, last modified, who created it, who was the last person to modify it. Contact info field is going to be email, address, phone number, social profile links, those lead details, the birthday that we searched on earlier. Then over here on the right, we've got custom tabs that you can create. So you can create up to 5 custom data tabs in Nimble. And within those custom data tabs, you can create drop-down values, single-line text fields, custom address fields, paragraph fields, which would be multi-line text fields that are either 1 column or 2 columns wide. So you can do 5 of these tabs, and then you can do subgroupings within these tabs to have little subcategories. And you can have 200 actual fields within each of these 5 tabs. So you can have 1,000 custom fields in a Nimble account. So if I look at pending and history, I want to look at my messages. If I click on show more, it's going to take me to that message. And I can see that conversation we had. When I click into a part of the conversation stream, it's going to show me that person's contact record on the right. So I don't have to switch between email tabs and CRM tabs to log that additional information on a contact. Nimble just serves that information up for you inside of your workflow. So that's what we try to do to make your life easier. If you have the Nimble extension installed, you'd be in an email thread with someone. And let me just log in. When I'm in that email thread, looks like our app is in the process of updating. So if I'm in that email thread, I can see that same little widget on the right side of my Gmail. So going over to activities, if I'm on the activities tab, let me just zoom in again. It's probably really small. I can see my calendar events interwoven with my upcoming tasks that I've created. I can see my specific tasks. I can look at what's upcoming, what's starred, what's completed, what's delegated. I can look at my calendar for the month or the week or the day. Click into those events, see that calendar details right here in Nimble, or I can go work out of Google Cal if I want. Going over to deals and reports for managing sales opportunities in Nimble. We have this deal pipeline view, which is kind of like a simple, like a Kanban board. We also give you a list view for the deals. You can see deals in groupings. You can see deals without groupings. You can sort on all these columns. You can customize these stage names. And everything from deals will feed into reports, but let's take a look at some deals. So if I click into a deal, it's very similar to a contact or a company record where I've got the activity, note, file attachment objects, communication objects that are going to show up on the deal. On the right-hand side, I can see information about all the profiles that are involved in the deal. So I don't have to switch tabs. I can just see those details right here. So I can see all those contact details here. I can see the stream. I can see any past notes I've logged. I can see conversations over here as well. And I can also go in here to edit the deal. And I can edit the amount, the stage, who it's assigned to, the probability of closing, expected close date, and what's involved in the deal. If I want to customize those stages, I just select Customize Stages, and I can edit the stage names. I can rearrange these stages. I can remove these stages. I can add my own names. Everything from deals is going to feed into my reports dashboard. So if I look at my reports, I can look at a team report, a personal report, or a team member report if I'm a sales manager, and I can see how everybody's doing in this team overview, what's the average per one deal, what's the total on our pipeline, And then we've got some preset intervals, so I can look at how do we do last month, last week, what we got going on this week, this quarter versus last quarter. I can look at forecast to see forecasted revenue for the quarter, forecasted number of deals. And if I look at historic deals, I can see how do I do last month in revenue or quantity of deals. And then I can split that apart by team members to compare, who's struggling, who isn't. And I can set these different preset intervals over last month, last quarter, last year. So I'm going to try to show our new Prospector feature. Just give me one quick moment, because we're really excited about this new feature that we're releasing, but we're in the middle of testing it, so I may not be able to show it to you, but it's a really cool functionality we've got where it's going to allow you to look up someone's contact information on a credit-based model. So a little prospecting tool for those of you that are in the SDR space or prospecting space. So let's see if I can get logged in. So here I am logged in. So I'm going to hover over EWAT and I'm going to search for contact info and use the new Nimble Prospector feature. This is going to allow me to find guess their email, get their website, their location, and a bunch of other additional information. So everybody's going to get 15 free lookups per month with the basic Nimble subscription. Then you can purchase additional lookups for guessing people's emails and then sending that outreach through Nimble. So here I am doing it on LinkedIn. If I'm, say, on Twitter, and I want to look at people that recently followed me. Got Martin Bedecker, he's in Germany, so we might not have the best luck, but he does have a website that is at findfocus.net. So let's see. So you can see we got this live profile that Nimble looks up with our Smart Contacts app. So this is all the free information Nimble will find for you. So let's find their social profile, their areas of influence. I can select search for contact info. I want to find focus. So I'm going to type in his first name, last name, then I'm going to feed it someone's company name or domain. And you can see right here, we've got 93% confidence. Nimble just helped me find the email address for a guy that just started following me on Twitter. So pretty cool. That should be out this month in September. So that's one of the cool features we just released for Nimble, or we're about to release. Another feature that we have released already is this ability to use this email signature capture feature we have. So everybody that you communicate with over email, they have their contact info in their email address, in their email footer. So if you look at Kurt, let's just pull up this email. You can see here, he's got his manager, emerging business group for startups. Down here, this circle back feature, which allows you to do email signature capture, is going to say found in signature. It's going to find his manager. It's going to find his location in Santa Monica. It's also finding, my screen just locked up. Of course it did. And it's also going to find whatever is in that other field. So looks like Chrome, it just kind of crapped out on me. So you can see there's the URL, esri.com/startups. So I'm going to close that and talk about how we've now got this email signature capture feature. We also have a business card scanner for the iPhone. So I've got a graphic of a business card. Fred Flintstone. Let me pull up my screen so I can show you the Nimble mobile app. So we're going to make this a little smaller. So the Nimble mobile app this is on my iPhone. You can see that it syncs with your calendars that are local to your phone, as well as the calendars in Nimble. So this is a good way to get your iCloud calendar in here. If I click into a event, I can see the attendees in the event. I can see their contact record. I can pick their photo right here. So I can see all those basic contact fields that I could see inside of the Nimble web app. I can see if I'm on an event and I'm going to be late, I can auto-generate an email message to the people that are also attendees, tell them I'm running late. After an event, I can get notifications about, I can set up notifications to be pinged to log a note about that event. So it'll say what was memorable about this event, and I can log that right here. I can select alerts for events. I can sync contacts from my mobile phone. And then I can manage my deal pipeline while I'm on the go. So I can go into a deal. I can set that deal with tasks. I can set an event up with that deal. I can add a note to that deal. I can also close that deal. I can see my task list of everything that I've got going on. Then I also have my whole contact list along with all my saved searches and tags. So now let's talk about the card scanner. So if I just select that plus button on the top right, it's going to ask me to scan a business card. You can see my desk, but let's just line this up. So I've just scanned this Fred Flintstone business card, as you can see, and Nimble's going to grab the name, the phone number, the email, and other fields on this record that was just scanned. So you can see I just got back from a conference with Fred Flintstone. I've got his name, his phone number, his email is automatically pulled in there, and as well as his company URL. Then I add that contact. And from there, Nimble's going to pull in those additional social profiles. This is like a joke profile, but it matched in based on this fake Fred Flintstone record. It matched in the bio and all this other additional information. So it's a great building off point to use our card scanner to add contacts in Nimble, feed it their name and email. Then Nimble will find those additional data points and their additional social profiles. And then you can then search on that information inside of Nimble. So I can search on people that work at a specific company, etc. Going back to talking about data points that Nimble can add for you. If you add a company and that company domain or URL, Nimble's able to find social profiles and all these different company insights for that contact record. And all these insights are also searchable. So we covered a lot today. And we're going to end today's session. I just want to mention that we will post this recording. I want to also show how Nimble works with Office 365 in Outlook on the desktop. So if I open up Microsoft Outlook, and I have an Outlook.com email account or a Office 365 email account, I have I then have this store icon. When I go to the store, I select Office Add-ins, and then I type in Nimble. Type in Nimble, select it to be on. And once I have Nimble on, this allows me to sign into my Nimble account and view Nimble records while I'm working in Outlook. So I see this Nimble contacts button. I've got the add-in for Outlook. It's going to show me who's in the email, just like in Gmail. And it's going to link me to their social bios. And I can see the Twitter and social insights within Outlook. I can also set contact as important, set the stay in touch reminders. I can do all those basic contact management tasks that I could do in the Nimble web app, and now I'm doing it in Outlook. I can also see company insights as well. So I can see that company record. You can see based on that domain, Nimble's able to look up a whole lot. And then I can also see that if you don't have a Nimble subscription, you can sign out and you can get 10 free requests per day. So I can do 10 of these little insights lookups per day. I'm not quite ready to sign up for Nimble yet, but if I do have a Nimble account, I can sign up or sign into my existing account right here. And I can take all those actions from Outlook. And again, if you want to make sure those emails from your Outlook account are syncing to Nimble, you want to go to your Nimble settings and connect to your Outlook account. So thanks for sticking with me for those last 5 minutes. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. And just want to thank everybody for their time today.